And we're on the overlay when we're live.
Hey there, and welcome to GemStars, part of the Untold Stories Project. I'm Wiki, and I'll be your host and game master this evening. GemStars is an actual play of mutants and masterminds, the world's greatest superhero RPG from Green Ronin Publishing, taking place in the original setting of Lafandi. Mutants and Masterminds is a D20 based system that allows players and GMs to create stories featuring all of the greatest heroes and villains of their imagination. One of the fun things about Mutants and Masterminds is the inclusion of the hero point. These allow heroes to re-roll a die, take an extra action, recover from dangerous conditions, make small scene edits, or use powers in creative ways. Heroes each start with one of these hero points and can gain additional points for good role playing, funny jokes, clever decisions, having their characters' complications used against them, and by your generosity. That's right. If you subscribe, renew a subscription, or donate bits to the stream, you will generate a hero point that you can then give to the player of your choice. We are a small but growing streaming network, and those follows, subscriptions, likes, comments, both here on Twitch and over on YouTube, help to keep us visible, growing, and paying our bills. Now, let's hear from our heroes tonight, shall we? Say, yay, conspiracies, heroes. Say,
Yay, conspiracies, heroes.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I hoped for. Um, heroes, let's go ahead and have you introduce yourselves. Tell us your name, who you're playing, and answer our question of the week, which is, what was the biggest challenge that your character faced before becoming a GemStar? And we will start with Calvin.
Oh, okay. Good chance for me to make sure the audio is working. Hey everyone. I'm Calvin. I'm playing Arcelia, aka the Ruby Gemstar of Strength. I'm here on Mondays and Tuesdays and over on the Dice channel where I'm streaming games, which is much easier to do because I only have one face to worry about. Uh, as for the question of the day, I I feel like the answer is kind of obvious. The major thing that Arcelia had to deal with before becoming a Gemstar and apparently after was Talindra Servina, her rival in town. The one who stole her books and threw them over a cliff and was also just a general jerk to her basically all the time. And also dressed really nice, which is super annoying. And they had a family rivalry that went back, many years. That was probably her biggest problem. Although I guess trying to be part of her family business is also a pretty big challenge. But she's got that covered. And I guess with that, I will just pass it off to Aaron.
Oh, hello everybody. I am Aaron. I am playing Braylon, who is the Amber Gemstar of Transmutation. Yeah, so the biggest challenge that Amber had before that Braylon had before becoming a Gemstar would probably have been immediately after their rite of passage when they had amnesia and had been grievously wounded and were trying to rediscover literally everything about themselves and their life and their place in the world and redefining their view on like Lafandi culture and literally everything. Because, that's not at all traumatic to do when you're 17.
Question.
Answer.
Is that truly the most challenging thing or the most challenging thing you're willing to tell us?
Yes.
Yes.
Braylon has secrets.
Braylon does have secrets, but that is almost certainly the most challenging thing that they've had to deal with before becoming a Gemstar. It was definitely the most challenging thing I could think of. Yeah. And with that, I will punt it upstairs to Aunt Puppy.
So, hello everyone. I'm Aunt Puffy. I play Elliot or Alexandrite, the Gemstar of Magic. I mean, to answer the question of the day, Elliot had nothing wrong going on before she became a Gemstar. She
Sorry.
just perfect. Just kidding. So she was a criminal secretly fighting her family, and she had a lot going on. Oh, and she's a demon. But, it's all good. She's fine now. She's fine now. But yeah, I would say the fact that she was a smuggler against her family was probably her big trouble she had. But other than that, I think she was fine. She had a very normal, stable childhood. Very...
Not the fact that she was, apparently human and doesn't remember it.
That's true. That's true.
Well, but people know, only Wiki would know those challenges.
Fair.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I feel like doesn't know how much she believes that's a thing.
Fair.
But I will pass it to Joe.
Hi, I'm Joe. I play Sodalite, aka lots of other names for her because she's had a life. And the most difficult thing she's been through, I think even technically including being a Gemstar, was after her rite of passage, even though she's technically never finished it, she went out to try to do her rite of passage. The Darkfall happened, and then she landed over in mining settlement and had to heal up from that. And to repay the granny that was taking care of her is how she got into the assassin stuff. And that was a rough few months trying to make a name for herself, and some not okay things happened, and Granny no longer exists, and that's where that will stay. I will pass it to Brandon.
Okay. My name is Brandon. I am playing Kingsley Palace, aka the world-renowned Jade Crystal, aka Emerald, the Gemstar of Fortune. And I thought long and hard about this, and I think it's pretty clear that the thing that Kingsley struggled with the most was just feeling kind of guilty about how much easier her life was than literally everybody else around her.
And you wonder why nobody likes you.
But no, everybody loves me.
That's true.
Because at least one person.
I will pass it up to Wiki.
So you're telling me her biggest struggle was Mary Sue syndrome?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was recognizing that she was in fact a Mary Sue.
Cool. As I'm sure our audience has noted, Jimmy is missing.
The raccoon.
Yes, Jimmy is. They are two raccoons right now.
Yeah.
They will be in a little bit late tonight because they have things in life to do. I don't know what that's about. And they also think they're going to get away without answering this question. So, little secret share between us and the audience. They will be answering this question when they arrive. But for now, when last we saw our magical girls, they had separated into two teams, each with an important mission in the overall plan to stop the Civil War from happening. Amber, Sodalite, and Morganite journeyed back to Pearl to check on their interests there and to try and gather some intel on what was actually happening around the government district and in the White Storm Rotunda. A slight mishap led to the team discovering not only Amber's missing boss, Consul Hydrox, but the fact that he and many others within the governmental body had become soulless. After returning home, Morganite discovered that her mother and her owl had fled from Pearl and were heading to her Aunt Bee's home in the Obsidian Fields. Just after making this discovery, she found herself called to join her teammates in the Rotunda, where she showed off a new ability that she had learned during her time with the Guardian, healing 4 of the soulless with her healing burst ability. While trying to come up with an escape plan, they learned that they could combine their powers to create other special abilities. And Morganite and Sodalite combined to create a shadow shield that rendered the now 7 members of their party practically invisible. This allowed the group to leave the building and return to the alley behind Amber's apartment undetected. At the same time, Emerald, Ruby, and Alexandrite returned to the Citadel Arcanum to speak with the Chancellery of Mages with the hope of both imparting some of the information they had recently uncovered and to talk them into a truce with the military. They found that the Chancellery was very open to the idea, but they were given a warning about the fact that members of the military leadership, particularly General Eldon Acosta, had become very paranoid and aggressive since Darkfall. Since Darkfall and the disappearance of the Master Mage. Understanding that they had done all that they could until the full team had reunited and they could decide on the next phase of their plan, the Galliana team accepted the hospitality of the Citadel and took the chance for some much needed rest. Later that night, Emerald, the only GemStar awake at the time, received a secret message from an unknown source with information about something called Project Atlas that her parents had been involved in before their disappearance. Armed with the names of at least 3 members of the Chancellery reported to also be involved in the project, Emerald headed off to locate those individuals, which is where we will begin tonight.
Oh crap, I forgot about that.
You went to look for trouble. How did you forget about that?
Denial ain't just a river in Egypt.
So you received this secret message through a info crystal. You got the information. The crystal told you to destroy it, and you did that. And you immediately left the room without waking anyone up. Yep. So you are in the hallways of the Citadel Arcanum.
Who is the highest ranking member of the Chancellery that was of the 3?
That's kind of hard to say because most of the Chancellery, with the exception of the actual head of the Chancellery, are they're kind of all thought to be the same level.
I want to do something a little weird.
Okay.
If you want me to spend like a luck point or something to do this, that's okay. But I want to pause, take a breath, meditate for a second, and let my luck guide me to the most appropriate of the 3.
Okay. I will have you spend a luck point for that. Let me remind myself who I made the 3. All right. All right, so you are walking down the hallway and you're actually, now that you're alone and the hallways are mostly deserted, there's not a lot, most people are sleeping, or at least have retreated to their private chambers to do whatever it is they do at night, study or whatever. you're noticing more that strange aliveness of the building, and that it seems to be subtly changing around you. And so you just follow where the building seems to be leading you. And you end up on the other side of the building, down a couple of floors in a large, you're pretty sure it's a library. There are a lot of information crystals in various shelving units. There's actually even a few paper books, which are relatively unusual. They don't make a lot of paper books in Lafandi because they don't like to cut down trees and plants to do that with. But you're pretty sure this is probably the library, and it's overlooking the lake. And there's a single figure in the room, and they seem to be going over some kind of data pad. They have a little pile of crystals next to them. And you recognize this particular person as Cornelius Ripper, who is a member of the Chancellery and is one of the names on that list.
What's the kind of honorary that the members of the Chancellery have? Is it Chancellor or is it just...
Unless you're a student of theirs, they don't really have one. They're just mages. If you were a student of theirs, you'd probably call them Master. But you're not a student.
And what'd you say it was what Ripper?
Cornelius.
Cornelius, I hope I am not disrupting you at this hour.
So you speak up, and it's very clear that he was very engrossed in whatever it is he was reading. And he goes, and he makes an effort to hide some of the, those small information crystals that he was using, and
Can
kind
I
of
sneak a glance?
You can certainly try.
I would love to fail that attempt. Well, not bad. 22.
All right. So you see, you can't really see like titles, but you can tell by the color of some of the things that he's trying to push under the tablet, for lack of a better term, that they are restricted information. So they would come from parts of the library that aren't open to everyone.
Okay.
So you can do with that what you will. You would assume, again, you've never used this library, but you would assume this library is made up of mage information. So various uses of crystals, possibly the histories of magical calamities, Solus, the shattered, what happened in the Shattered Islands, and maybe the restricted things would be darker ways that gem magic has been used, or the more dangerous things that gem magic can do, that kind of thing. You would assume.
I motion to what I'm assuming is another seat near the table. May I?
Certainly.
What has you up at this hour? I'm having trouble sleeping myself.
Just preparations.
Oh?
It's a very dangerous and stressful time. And we are challenged with keeping all of the Fondi safe, and the way we do that is by keeping the mages safe. That is a tall order.
Yes, it is. So are you someone who really, really prefers to beat around the bush, or can we set aside pleasantries given the nature and timeline of our problems?
I'm afraid he looks genuinely confused. I don't understand the question.
Yeah, we'll go direct. What do you know about Project Atlas, and how is it go? And what's the deal with it, and where are my parents?
So when you say Project Atlas, his eyes get a little large for a moment. And he kind of shakes his head, and he looks like he's about to deny knowing anything about whatever you just said. And then you say, and where are my parents? And that look of confusion comes back. And he says, I'm afraid I don't know who your parents are. So he has deflected the one problem to zoom in on the how would I know who your parents are?
You're a clever man. I don't think we need to spell this out. Who on the Fondi would be interested in Project Atlas and their parents at the same time?
I'm afraid I don't follow general gossip around the Fondi.
Give away your identity.
So you're unaware
I'm unaware of what?
that the Palaces have a daughter.
Oh. Are you saying that it was my understanding that Kingsley was a member of the my understanding that Kingsley was a member of the Palace conspiracy?
She was not. Side note, with her being, like depressed and like crying herself to sleep, I just had assumed she had been wandering as Kingsley and didn't even realize she might still have her her disguise up. So she just was like, didn't even realize she got put off by a second there. Like, wait, oh, I guess he doesn't.
Yeah, she was like, all right, we didn't do that thing.
Yeah. But she said, no, she was not.
Okay. Project Atlas is, and then he stops and he kind of looks around. Follow me. He gets up and he brushes all of the, his little reader and his crystals, and he brushes them into a big pocket in his robes. And he sort of shuffles towards the door. Cornelius is a slightly older gentleman. He looks to be in his late 60s or early 70s, so that probably makes him somewhere around 90.
I want to do something stupid.
Sure.
I caught him a little off guard. He's a little flustered, and he's trying to quickly shovel things into his pocket. I'm going to try and swipe one of them.
Okay. Give me sleight of hand. All right.
The skill everyone invests in Mutants and Masterminds.
Not very much. I'm trying to decide whether or not I'm going to spend a luck point on that. Yeah, I'm going to spend a luck point.
How you managed to come up with a skill test against an NPC? I do not have a. You know what? Let's just do it this way. Okay.
So that is a 21.
So you actually managed to catch two of the smaller chips, and we'll look into that later. So he shuffles out of the library, and he reaches over as you're walking down the hallway, and he reaches over and he taps on the wall. Like it's very subtle, so it's very hard to keep track of how many times. But you think it's about 5. And at the end of the hallway, you see the hallway, like this time you see it change. And it reconfigures itself so that a door that was not there before is suddenly there. And he heads straight for that door.
I'll follow him.
And Puppy, give me a perception check, please.
Okay. Oh, I gotta open my character sheet. Perception. Okay, where are you?
You hear Kingsley's screams echo through the hallway.
Oh, perception. There we go.
All right. Yes. Okay. So you walk down, you follow him down the hallway, and he opens the door and allows you through. And he takes a moment before he closes the door to sort of check, like he's looking down the hallway before he steps completely through the door and closes it behind him. And Puppy, I need a stealth check.
Okay. Oh, my character sheet just crashed. Hold on. Roll 20 does not like me the last 2 times. Now roll 20 crashed.
I will open your sheet and.
I was gonna say, if you roll terrible, it doesn't count. Them's the rules.
Is them's the rules?
I don't think that's how that works.
I don't think those are the rules.
I got it. Don't roll. I got it.
Oh, okay.
Roll, you can roll. I feel that's fair. That's fair.
That's not how that works.
Also a 20.
Okay. Okay. So you've entered the room, and it's a fairly bare room. It's just made, there's just a table with some chairs in the middle. And it's just the crystalline walls that are slowly, again, they're very similar to what the surface of the Guardian looks like as he sort of softly rotates through the various colors of the crystals on the planet. And he sits down at one of the chairs at the table. Project Atlas is it's a plan that a very select few came up with to try and find out what Shadowfall is. At the moment, we do not have the magic or the technology or the know-how to leave our world and go to another. It is not something that has ever occurred to us because we are all that is here. But now it seems that leaving the surface of our planet and going to another could be a requirement for our survival. But it is not something that we of the conspiracy felt could be trusted, with everyone knowing.
Why?
And so because we are old and cynical, and we are aware of the world in which we live.
Why did you think Kingsley was involved?
It was my understanding. It was my understanding that all of the palaces were involved in the creation of Palace Automotive. So we assumed. Clearly incorrectly. If you are not a member of the conspiracy, why are they after you?
I'm not sure if they're after me.
Oh, they are very much after you.
I think they may be after Kingsley, or at least trying to send her a message.
Well, as you say, we are speaking plainly now, and it is clear to me that you are Kingsley. So why are they after you if you're not?
Like I said, I'm not sure they're after Emerald.
Do they know who you are?
There is one person who does. Someone we went up against had a power of some kind that depowered me, that enabled them to see me.
Interesting. Powers of nullification are very rare.
And I imagine with that and the knowledge that the person who nullified them was a close personal friend of the former Master Mage.
This is very, very worrying information.
Who kidnapped the Master Mage's children and depowered me while we were trying to save them. There are plots within plots within plots.
So it would seem. And now you have your answer as to why we did not trust this information with the greater populace. What we have been doing is attempting to build a ship capable of going to Shadowfall. We think that your parents were close, but now we have no way of knowing. Those of us in the Conspiracy of Mages were responsible for research into crystals, gems, the magic and non-magical properties therein that could be harnessed in this project. The conspiracy in Eopion was in charge of mining whatever materials would be needed, and your parents were in charge of
researching.
We're in charge of building the ship.
Do you know how much progress they made? Is it possible that there was something beneath Palace Aeromotives that was stolen? Or had they not made enough progress for something to be stolen?
As I said, we think they were close, at least with a working prototype. It is possible that it was stolen. We, again, are assuming it was destroyed. There are clearly agents at work who do not want us. There are clearly agents at work who want us focused on other things.
Hey, Wiki.
Yes.
Just wondering how, just needling at how sadistic you actually are, how long have I had my portal ship for?
Quite a while, actually.
Okay.
It is definitely, I know where you're headed there, and that is not it.
Okay. Just making sure.
Yeah. It is possible that it has been stolen, but I feel that the more likely scenario is that it was destroyed and that the resulting explosion was unexpected.
So you think the actual explosion at Palace Aeromotives was an accident as a result of sabotage of...
That is the assumption we have been working with. It is impossible for any mages of the conspiracy to get close enough to verify those assumptions without exposing ourselves.
And at least right now, with me as prime suspect, I can't either.
It is possible that those in Okinawan have other useful information, more than what we would keep here, because we know there to be agents of nefarious purposes in the Citadel. And we don't know how.
Are we talking allied? Are we talking allied with Acosta? Allied with Dark?
We don't know. And the Chancellery itself is not above suspicion, because only mages have the power to make Solus. And gem warriors, as powerful as they may be, they're not powerful enough for that.
Do you know where my parents are?
We do not.
Do you know if they're still alive?
We do not. We have agents looking for them, but it has only been, what day is it?
If I remember correctly, it happened earlier today.
Yeah, I was gonna say, we're still in the same day.
Yeah.
It's the night. It's late at night of the day it happened.
Yeah, it hasn't even been 36 hours.
It hasn't even been 24 hours, I don't think.
No, it's been probably 12.
Yeah, sounds about right. 12 hours.
Yeah.
So after Kingsley asks about her parents, and basically the mage tells her that, we have no idea, but people are looking, she'll feel like a very, I'm trying to figure out how to describe it. A heavy, soft hand on her shoulder.
Because that won't scare the crap out of you.
A comforting weight.
A comforting weight.
Yeah, it's heavy because she has big hands, but softly on her shoulder.
This is going to take you a little bit aback because of how, I don't know, kind of nice she has been. But kind of, she's say, is that the cat or the demon who won't tell us her name?
And you will see Cornelius will go, excuse me?
And she won't say anything. She'll just take her hand away and won't say anything.
Probably the demon.
Are you feeling okay?
Yes. One of my friends is here.
That doesn't sound crazy or anything.
We should not linger here.
Okay.
And he'll go to the door.
As he goes to the door, one more thing.
Yes.
What were you looking up in the restricted sections of your library?
Way to go, Columbo.
Well, one more thing. Just one more thing.
Yeah.
Maybe
He
wait
actually-
until we're outside the door.
He actually kind of chuckles. Says, looking for ways to continue without the palaces.
You still have the palaces. I'll turn behind my back, say, Alexandrite, let's go.
He opens the door and you move through it, and he closes the door, and as he closes the door, that whole area changes and becomes an even longer hallway.
That tracks.
If you're going to spy on me, it would at least be polite if you would finally tell me your name.
Did you just hear a disembodied voice just say, "It's Elliot"?
Elliot, it's nice to meet you. Thank you for backing me up. I probably shouldn't have done that alone.
Ruby.
Yep.
Give me a perception check, please.
She's been abandoned so she could nap.
I mean, she got infected by... Oh, wow.
Okay.
I did good in perception.
Darn.
Should have used that for a stealth.
Oh, a nat 20.
Okay.
Percepts all the things.
So you kind of start to wake up, and you're in that place between where you haven't opened your eyes yet. You're not quite awake. You're in that place between sleeping and waking. And you hear a voice that you don't recognize. Say something to the effect of, "Oh, interesting. I wonder when this one will wake. You know, I could write it down." And it would. No, I'm not supposed to interfere.
She will, like, start to sit up and look around, trying to find the source of that voice.
So you set up, and off in one corner, you see a very, very small person.
Oh, no.
There are
About 1 foot tall.
about one
The
and a
1 foot
half-
man.
1.5 feet tall, with short, stubby limbs and a fluffy yet difficult to define shaped torso under a dark tweed jacket and slacks. The top part of his head and face are obscured by a tall, pointed canonical hat, but his round, bulbous nose and ample brown beard, not beer. He does not have an ample brown beard.
Now he's a leprechaun?
He has an ample brown beard, and they are fully on display. And he's sort of sitting, sort of little chunky feetsies crossed over each other. And he's got this glowing notebook, for lack of a better term. He's got a little pen, and he's scribbling furiously in it. And he looks up, and he sees you, and he goes, "I guess you're awake," and then he vanishes.
Oh. This is why I shouldn't read before bed. I mean, not seeing any of her companions around.
Oh yeah, you're also very alone in the well, not completely alone. Shelby's there.
Well, you may not be alone. I may have made it all the way back. You don't know.
Shelby is rolled over on her back with her little feet up in the air, tongue hanging out of her mouth.
Well, I will let sleeping pangolins lie. And I guess I don't see any sort of depression or anything or any indent on Alexandrite's bed.
You see no evidence that anyone else except for Shelby is in this room with you.
Okay, time
You
to
see, and you see no evidence that Emerald even got into one of the beds.
You do see over by the door some particles of what look like a shattered info crystal.
Completely irreparable, I would figure.
Oh yeah, it seems to have been ground to a pulp.
Okay, time to go start looking for the team then.
I mean, if only we had like a psychic connection to each other.
If only.
She
if
just
only that
woke
were a
up.
thing. Yep. She just woke up. To be
We've had our
fair,
powers a week.
and to be fair, she just woke up and saw possibly a hallucination over in the corner. So
David the
Shut up.
gnome,
Join me in seeing the gnomes.
acting like an anthropologist.
It will probably take her a couple of minutes to think of that, but she will hop on this psychic connection trying to reach out to Emerald and Alexandrite and say, have either of you two encountered some sort of, like, a 1 foot tall man?
Oh, good, you're awake. I'm not going to have to wake you up. We need to meet back in the rooms right away. If you've left them.
I just stepped out. I was actually looking for you. Where did you go?
Wait, can we circle back to this 1 foot man?
I actually would like to, but that sounded pretty urgent.
1 foot?
No, he was 1 foot tall. I'm sorry, where have you two been? What is going on?
And Elliot just like, she's just standing behind her and she goes, I'm right here. And then just like appears behind Ruby.
Great.
I am undramatically walking up the hallway, just doing an info dump in your head, like, so my parents are part of a conspiracy. It was called Project Atlas. It involved at least 3 members of the Chancellery. Oh, and that family that you hate from Opanon. They were trying to find a way to travel off planet, off Lafonti to get to Darkfall.
info dump.
Yeah.
No, keep going. Jemmy's taking
They were
notes.
close. It's possibly what started the explosion.
Yeah.
Right, because when we were there, it seemed like the explosion was purposely made. Because they were building a rocket.
We got a subscription.
Charles Ripper, whatever.
Oh yes, we did get
something Ripper. Something weird that began with a C. Chester Ripper. Cornelius Ripper was researching. Well, don't know if it's completely accurate to say dark magic, but it's not completely inaccurate. In order to make up for the loss of my parents' research. And yeah, that bully back at the Opanon?
Talindra?
Yeah.
She's part of this?
Okay,
well.
we gotta go ask her for information and favors. I'm sorry.
Oh no, I'm willing to interrogate her. She's not gonna recognize me in this outfit.
Emerald's eyebrows raised just a little bit at the word interrogate.
It'll be even better to interrogate while standing with a demon next to you.
Yeah, a different part of.
And her name's Elliot.
Oh, well, that's nice to know.
while Team Galliana discovers each other's names, finally, I would like to say thank you to Odd Nephew for the subscribe. And Jimmy,
follow.
you have, and the follow. Jimmy, you have been given the hero point. Okay, Team Galliana, please continue.
Okay, so looks like our next step is.
I was so incredibly out of sorts and sleep deprived and worried about my parents that I may have accidentally, on purpose, slipped my identity to Cornelius. But everybody else is safe.
It definitely happened.
Oh, and reached into my pocket. Here's 2 of the chips that he was researching. We should probably check out what's on them.
Just gonna take a look at those. Are these like technological or are they magic-logical?
Yeah.
So isn't that the same thing in this world?
It's kind of the same thing, yes.
Fair play.
In this case, it's mostly technological. So you could any type of, you would definitely have a reader that would work to look at these. It's essentially like a Kindle that you stick a chip into, so when you look at them, they are kind of what you expected them to be. They're high level magical sort of equations and theories, and it's like really, really high level
it's technical documentation.
Theoretical, like so if it was here in our world, it'd be like theoretical math and physics.
It's like
except that it's in this world, it's more theoretical magic and crystal use, and
it's Goodwill Hunting type stuff.
Kind of, yeah, except mage related instead of straight up math related.
Right.
But you understand enough to understand to sort of get that, yeah, what he said he was looking for is what this seems to be. Like, it's clear they're trying to find alternate means of transportation, for lack of a better term.
Right. Well, whatever this, whoever's after these
Alexandrite, can Alexandrite make anything of this?
Alexandrite, give me a magic check, but your
Everybody take a luck point.
knowledge skill.
No. I'm gonna
You have a luck point.
I'm gonna use that luck point and re-roll it. I mean, I don't have it, so I can't give it to you, but
it's fine.
In my mind, that's what I've done. I telepathically gave it to you. That feels better. 26. I'm magic based. I should have better expertise in magic.
So you look at these and you're kind of like, this kind of reminds me of portal magic. But
not portals magic, portal magic.
Yes.
Portals magic, entirely different kind of thing. How you doing?
It kind of reminds you of portal magic, but in a way that you don't quite recognize. And you're kind of looking at it and you're like, I'm not sure this would work. Because you're kind of like, I get the theory they're going with here. But without knowing more about how gem magic itself works, which is not something you've been exposed to for, more than a week. You are uncertain if this theory actually seems plausible, but you do understand that, at least in this document, he was looking at the idea of portal magic.
Okay. Do I see anything that, because obviously they don't know anything about Shadowfall, do I see anything where it's just blatantly like, I know it won't work?
No.
Okay.
You, like, with your knowledge of the Empress and her magic and how powerful it is, you're kind of pessimistic about the idea that anything would work at all, ever. But that's just, those are your feelings rather than what the actual theory that you're looking at is telling you.
Because obviously the Empress has to have some way of making a portal to go back and forth. So something has to be able to get in. And this is as good a theory of getting in as anything.
And it is how you got out.
True.
So.
At least works one way.
There's a...
It's not
I'm not going to say a crazed look in Emerald's eye, but it's not altogether hinged. And she says...
Emerald is not completely hinged.
Says, can you do it?
I mean, in theory, this could potentially work.
Okay, but can you do it?
Definitely not.
No.
It would take more than one for sure.
Yeah, the way this magic seems to be presenting itself is that it's team-based and needs multiple gems to work.
Like all of us working together?
Our friendship.
Ugh.
By your powers combined.
Could we
Voltron
combine the teleporting powers that are present at... Give me a second. Ithium.
I mean, that would certainly give us a better boost.
Between our magic, Ithium's magic, and this, and you in particular.
I mean, the biggest piece that it seems that they're missing, and Wiki, you can obviously correct me if I am incorrect.
Okay.
Is that no one here has ever been to Shadowfall. So there's never really been a connection to that.
But you have.
Which seems to be where some of the difficulty in it working appears to be in this. So it does feel like I might be somewhat of a key to help opening it.
It's not a terrible theory.
That sucks.
We should really discuss this with the rest of the team present, though.
Absolutely.
Correct. It does seem like even just the three of us in Ithium wouldn't work. It needs lots of magic.
Well, we need to be able to get in first.
Gem magic, I guess is how I should say.
And you also, you know enough about magic to know that the Empress you would definitely have to, you're essentially, you would be trying to punch through a titanium wall.
Yeah.
Of magic with your own magic. So you'd have to get through that and hope that she doesn't notice.
Correct.
So,
But it's not a terrible theory.
And that brings up the point of if there needs to be a link between both, then that means she has to have somebody over here.
I gotta assume that's the person who's trying to stop this project, and
I'm operating off of the assumption that that is Crystal Chandelier or whatever her name is.
Crystal Chandelier. Crystal Chandelier.
Who
is Crystal Chandelier?
Steve buffed you?
No. The friend.
Brilliant Sassfight.
Brilliant Sassfight.
Okay.
I remember that name because I didn't like her.
I knew it was like shiny, something shiny.
It's super close.
Yeah, so close.
My operating assumption at the moment is that Brilliance, with the help of the Queen, has taken my parents because if my parents can get to Darkfall, then they can go the other way too. And weren't you saying that the Queen was having trouble with that? That there was some kind of difficulty going on with absorbing whatever she's going to do.
Oh, you mean the Empress? Man, I'm like, man, you better hope the cat is not here with you, because.
Oh,
I was like, the Queen. I was like, shit, who am I missing?
I don't know. Is there a queen? There's not a queen.
No, she calls herself the Empress.
Sorry.
The Queen is the cat.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh yeah. The Queen is the cat. Ugh. Cat.
So, at least right now, with the puzzle pieces we've got, the way they seem to be fitting to me is Brilliance and the Empress. The Brilliance is the person on Life Andy working for the Empress, and Brilliance was the cause of the explosion. Don't know if it was to take the ship, to sabotage the ship, what. But then in the process also kidnapped my parents. I am operating off of the assumption that my parents are currently on Darkfall.
That might be the case, and if it is, Brilliance is probably going to go after the Serfinas next, because the Chancellors are pretty well protected here, so we've got some bait dangling that we should catch up to.
Yes.
But I should also check in with the other half of our team. I'm sure their mission's going smoothly as ours.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Super smooth.
It is the middle of the night, so maybe we should try to sleep.
You should.
I was gonna say, I'm pretty sure, like, in my mind, Elliot is like kind of nocturnal, so really she's useless during the day. She just does a lot of power napping because you guys keep her awake all the time.
So, as Team Galliana decides whether or not they should have a little nap before they try to contact Team Pearl,
oh no,
this seems like a good place to take our break. But before we head to the break,
no,
Jimmy.
Hi.
Hi. Nice to see you. Welcome.
Oh.
Sorry.
You had life and had to come late, and so didn't.
And that's okay.
And that is perfectly fine. But you didn't get to answer the question of the day. So we're going to do that now.
See, I thought I was out of that.
We know.
Never say the quiet part out loud.
Especially not in front of your father.
Exactly.
Well, because I don't have a good answer.
Jimmy.
Hi.
Tell us. Well, first of all, tell us who you are.
No.
Who you're playing, and tell us what was your character's biggest challenge that they faced before becoming a GemStar.
Okay, well, I am Demi, as I've been called out multiple times. I play Mary or Morganite. I still don't have a fancy introduction for her, because she's just traumatized right now. And I guess really the answer isn't anything fancy. The biggest challenge my character faced was really just getting any freedom, honestly. Like, there wasn't any challenge. Mary had no, like, oh, well, my mother's a company of this, or I'm in line on, like, the court, or whatever our government system is here. She was just a girl who had, like, a really overprotective parents. So that was, like, her only problem. She doesn't have a lot.
So what you're saying is that Mary's mother is Mary's biggest challenge.
Literally.
Yeah.
But she also didn't even, like, realize how bad it could get.
What about the shadow of her dead brother?
Well,
I mean,
he died when she was a child, like, really young. We haven't
Isn't the
gotten to
shadow
that
of her
point
dead
in
brother
their
kind of the
story.
reason? Isn't the shadow of her dead brother, though, kind of the reason why her mom is her biggest challenge?
Yeah.
Yep.
We haven't gotten that lore drop in this game yet.
Man, I don't even know what you guys are talking about.
I was like, I see the face, I'm like, well, yeah, we haven't mentioned this in the story yet. The people don't know her brother died.
Oh, right.
How about Mystery Dad?
And with that,
That's
and
we're
with
gonna take
that,
our break.
and with that surprise lore drop, we're going to go ahead and take our break. We will be back in 5 to 10 minutes to join Team Pearl and see what kind of shenanigans they can get up to. We'll be back.
Cool. Swoosh.